Caitlyn as well, depending on what Yellowstar wants to play. But he's been doing a lot of Varus, so that's going to be a highly contested AD carry pick. Leona, as we do see bend out, which, I mean, you expect that when you're playing against Fnatic to always be taken away. And then the Cassidon taken away from Xpeke, and the Lux targeted at Xuxe. And the Elise, wow, these bans are going pretty much fast just in general. They know what they want to take away from each other. And with that Jarvan, with that Elise gone, they are going to pick up, looks like, Xin as their first champion.
Yep, Xin locked in there. And a Teemo, Jason, can you believe it?
I've never thought this would actually happen in competitive play. Actually, I talked to Jad earlier, and I was like, have we ever seen a Teemo in competitive play minus the Rain Man? And I think he said in one of the qualifiers for Tales of Lane, there might have been a Teemo mid that beat Gambit Gaming, but that was it.
That was it. We don't see him very often, that's for sure. Obviously not going to be a pick here for Fnatic. The crowd would go mental if it actually would get locked in. Nasus, though, will be a real choice here for Fnatic.
It's so distracting by everyone.
Teemo, and they've got the sign in there behind them, in front of Fnatic.
You're breaking their hearts, man. Every time someone does that, they get so excited just to be let down. As you said, the Nasus does get locked in for Cyanide, running that Ghost, which has been really contested summer spell lately. I'm curious to see how well it's actually going to work out for them here. Then you see Dragonborn side, Ezreal being sat on, which I'm not too sure Hosan plays too much. I mean, he must play every AD carry, but in terms of his like top 3, okay, well, an easily top 3 there. But the Janna, we never really see that in Europe. It's mostly in North America, if anything. Yeah,
we've not been seeing a lot of Janna here in Europe, that's for sure. There's Teemo again. He's not going to be locked in now, once again, sadly. I'm just hoping at some point today, maybe someone will just pick up a Teemo just to gain fans here with the audience. But Fnatic, they've got Nunu and Blitzcrank in there, which I'm assuming one of them will end up being switched out. Mordekaiser, not going to happen.
We did see this combo with Varus Nunu before in this bottom lane, but Nunu could always be running the jungle. Sana is one of the few people that still run him there. Obviously, we do have a Nasus, so it won't really matter in the end. He's also unstoppable force in the top lane. You can't push him out of lane, same as middle, but they do go ahead and lock in a Zed, which to me, it will be going on Soaz. We saw that nice combo with Fnatic against, I believe it was SK, where they ran a Zed and a Cassidon combo, and they would just roam around together, blowing people up. Fnatic has really excelled at that over the past couple weeks of just teaming up 2 players and just blowing people up one by one, picking them off when they're overextended. So that could be a potential thing that they're going to go for, depending on how their last pick goes.
See what Dragonborns will throw in here for their final 2. Xin Zhao obviously already picked up in there. You can see Spirit seemed pretty high. Hosan having a good laugh at Gragas. I mean, that was Xuxe's Season 1 champion. We saw his belly coming out with that cosplay as well, which was certainly interesting. And also a Renekton possibly here for Yamato Cannon in that top lane.
That is really interesting, Joe, because look what we have on Dragonborn's side developing now. We have 3 dispersions. You have Zin's ultimate, you have Janna's ultimate, you have Gragas' ultimate. So if you ever try to dive on someone, they're going to get knocked away completely, which is kind of one of those things that's making me wonder why they went for Ezreal instead, because you have so much protection with that. But still, that is going to be so hard for Fnatic, for any one of them to get in there. And they have that range with Varus. They have Zed, who they can control and lock down, especially with an exhaust. It's going to be really interesting to see what Fnatic's going to pick up here to kind of counter that.
Well, they may just be thinking, well, this is our team, this is what we practice, this is what we want to run, let's go all out and go for that one.
Well, Twisted Fate, sorry.
Twisted Fate, Xpeke, we've seen. I mean, the dispersion's not going to help against Twisted Fate, is it? Because he's going to be over the other side of the map, just pushing down your towers, as we saw from Xpeke yesterday in their game against Gambit. Whether that'll actually come out here again, though, remains to be seen. But already got the Zed in there, and there is a Shen going to be picked up in there. So it will be a Zed mid lane for Xpeke.
And I know a lot of AP players in the mid lane have been practicing these new AD champions, Jarvan, Zed especially, who everyone seems to be playing. We saw Bjergsen did a phenomenal job on him last game, and that's kind of what you have to do. They're starting to adapt, and the Zed, I mean, it's Xpeke playing him, so you should expect ridiculous amount of ganks out of them. Really strong play overall.
Yeah, and you saw there in the background the guys with the Teemo sign. It's like, picks are over. Let's go and sit back down with the Teemo sign. We'll come back next time around and stand in front of one of the teams, trying to get him in there to pick that Teemo up. But Jason, we've got the 10 champions locked in here. Who do you fancy, and who do you think's got the strongest combo here? I mean, 2 very different lineups, that's for sure.
I'm looking at it right now, and Dragonborns I have to give it to, in my opinion, because you have Nasus, he has Ghost. How is he going to get in there against any of them when they have all those knockbacks, all those pushbacks as well on top of that? So if he does go for anyone, it's going to be the Ezreal, but then again, Ezreal's not really attack speed reliant unless you build him a certain way, but mostly he'll build just that burst damage, that kind of caster Ezreal build. And then over on Fnatic's side, they're so tanky. They have that Nunu who can really eat a lot of damage. You have the Shen, you have the Nasus. but there's just no way for them to get in there. That's the problem. If they can control Expeke, Dragonborns can win this game.
Well, it's an important one for them here. They've got two stand-ins in the form of Yamato Cannon and Dexter. There's Shushay doing his usual hand warm-up of kind of just flopping him around all over the place. One day he's actually going to smack himself in the face with that and lose an eye, I think. But in terms of getting your hands warm, certainly gets some blood flowing, that's for sure. And everyone has a different way to approach that one. I mean, most players just have a warm pack to put on between their hands before the game. Shushay, he's going old school, getting that blood flowing.
I was just drinking something, Joe, and I almost spit it out. As you said, one of these days he's going to slap himself in the face. I almost did all over the screens, but luckily held it in, and we are finally in the game. And we see some interesting pickups, actually, in terms of items when we do get in there.
So here we are then, Dragonborns versus Fnatic. Dragonborns on the blue side. Jason, you mentioned the items, you can take us through them.
Well, we do see a lot of red pots picked up, and we've seen Expeke pick one up for himself in the mid lane, which is very kind of common thing to do. He gives you a lot of extra damage, a lot of extra survivability as well. You see Shen pick one up in the top lane, you see Renekton pick one up as well. And then the cloth armor 5 pots out of Shushay. We saw, I believe it was AAA pick up 2 people with cloth armor 5 pots, and it didn't seem to work out for them in that laning phase. They weren't able to hold on long enough in the game. But now it's going to be really interesting to see if Sun is going to camp a lane at all to really open up an opportunity with that cloth armor 5 pots in the middle and then Renekton in that top lane.
So early on here, not too much going on in terms of invasions. There are quite a few wards down there. Double ward from Fnatic on the bottom side of the river. Similar situation for Dragonborns. They've got one in their tri-bush and one in the bush there just to that bottom side. Fnatic, however, are headed to the top side of the map with 4 men. This could indicate a delayed invade. Yeah,
I mean, that's something that Fnatic really loves to do, is especially when they have that Blitzcrank in their hands, to really go for that late invade on the blue buff. They are heading for it right now, but it looks like Yamato Cannon will be able to spot him, just use himself as a human ward, and in fact, he will see it and just walk away.
Oh, actually went back in there for a second, but he will back away. No problems for him. Soaz is actually going to be portaling back home, so looks like we will see Nasus get back onto the top side. They're going to have that raid start. We can see that Dragonborn's going to be kicking things off down on the golems for the start of this.
And look what's happening right now. We have we have really good ward coverage on Fnatic's side, so they show themselves at the enemy blue buff, but they also warded for any kind of counter invade that's going to happen out of Dragonborn's side. So if they do end up going for that, they will be able to pretty much counter them themselves, because we see no one on Dragonborn sides actually checked their own blue buff after that. They're not even sure if it's still up or if it was taken.
And we'll see then what Sin decides to do, whether he'll just go about his normal path, check that blue side and hope that it's not gone away from them. Red buff is going to be picked up here by Cyanide on that top side of the map. Talk us through a little bit in this middle lane here. Actually, Shushay has hit level 2 a little bit faster than Expeke. Well, talk us through Gragas versus Zed.
Well, Gragas is one of those AP champions that's melee, as you're seeing right there, which really gives him a lot of hassle early on. But because of the champion he is, the passive off of his his passive, sorry, he was able to sustain enough in the lane to really kind of harass quite a bit. But I really give it to Cyanide, as we do see, and Raider getting caught here by Dexter.
Yep, Cyanide actually coming in. He's going to get the wither down right on top of Dexter. They don't have the damage to pick up a kill there, and need to be a bit wary of Yamato Cannon. He started to move his way down from out of the lane, but look at Fnatic. They are pretty dedicated to getting themselves this blue buff, and the thing is, Dragonborns have not got a ward to put down on top of that. The Spirit Fire goes in there as well, and Fnatic are going to be able to take this one away. It's smited down by Cyanide. Really nice start for them now. If he gets himself home and back to the bottom side, that could be an early blue buff for someone else.
Yeah, that was very ballsy of Fnatic to do that, because we had Enraider, who was only level 1 at that point, who was already low as it was. If we did see a collapse out of Dragonborns, I think they could have won that fight and secured their own blue, but we do see that invade finally coming out of Dragonborns, and they want to take this blue buff away. They are spotted going into it, but will Fnatic react?
Yeah, that's the question. Can Fnatic do anything here to stop this blue buff being taken away? And there's a ward down on the corner of that brush, and Dexter will smite it away. So blue buff's been traded, each team picking up their red buff as Dexter finished off that camp there. Now let's have a look down the CS here early on as well. 15 to 10. That's Shen here in the 1v2. Who do you think has a better time of it here? I mean, the Shen versus Janna Ezreal and the Renekton versus Varus Nunu.
I'd have to give that over to Renekton. As long as he lets them push his lane against him, he can farm really well under turret. Over towards the bottom side, you see Shen. He has the sustain in terms of just health, but in terms of lasting under the turret, I don't think he's going to do too well. And then again, I mean, it is Soaz, especially with that red pot. If he does pop that, he can easily bait them in, and also with that extra AD, get a lot more last hits.
And until now, not really had to use anything to keep himself healthy. Obviously, Ezreal was out of the lane a little bit, but Fnatic had the same thing on that top side to be picking up the blue buff of Dragonborns as well. So quite pensive start here, and Fnatic know that despite Dragonborns having this new lineup, despite them not being so great in terms of the league table at this point, they're a dangerous team that they still have to watch out for. Yeah,
Fnac's definitely giving them the respect that they deserve off this. We do have Simon, as you're seeing right there on your screen, sticking around that middle lane, but it's a Gragas. Once he has that body slam up, you really can't catch him too easily, just like a Zed. Really has a high mobility in the middle lane. Just seen, so let's take a little bit of harass right there, but it's not that much in the end.
Yeah, not too much damage coming out. Obviously, both AD carries starting with that Doran's Blade this time around. Is Dexter going to come in? Can they lock down Xpeke here? And I think Shushe calling the standstill to that one. I realised that they couldn't get in there and finish things off. So as again, it's going to take some damage, but he will just Shadow Dash back towards the tower. No problem.
And you're seeing like how comfortable he is in the bottom lane, because he still has the red pot and he still has 5 health pots on top of that. So he's being harassed, but he's not really worried about it in the end. They're not really doing enough damage to him. And just seeing right there, him going in, being a little aggressive. They're not doing enough damage yet to push him out when he has that much, or that many health pots to keep his health up.
Yeah, staying nice and healthy there. Yamato Cannon here coming up into the brush. There's a ward down, and Rated throws a snowball in his direction. And he should know now that that ward is in fact there. Xin Zhao is hanging around middle lane. They've already tried to get in on towards Xpeke before in this middle lane. But can they do it again? Gragas and Zed are both at level 5, so they're not going to be too far away from hitting that all-crucial level 6. Which, as I say that, Shushe actually will hit level 6, which could set things up for them there if they can pull him back towards him with that explosive cast coming out. We'll have to see. But up until now, Jason, pretty quiet game.
Yeah, pretty quiet game in overall. It looks like Fnatic just wants to farm up, get a couple of levels here just to finally start roaming around a little bit as they're going to need to. Xpeke, I mean, he did hit level 6. Shushe picking up that Seeker's Arm Guard as his first item, sitting on 49, or sorry, not 49 armor, 80 armor at this point. And with that passive, he's not going to be pushed out of lane too easy. If we see him ever get pushed out, it's going to be Xpeke committing everything he has against him to try to burst him down. But Sana giving some attention down towards this bottom lane, just making sure Soaz can pick up a couple more CS and also some more experience.
Yeah, Hosan went relatively low there, and relatively compared to what we've seen of him so far, but we are seeing Yamato Cannon going out a little bit there from the turret, forcing Fnatic to back off, but again, no kills.
Yeah, it seemed like a little bit of miscommunication, because Yamato Cannon, he didn't have his Ruthless Predator up, he didn't have that stun up just yet, so that's kind of the thing we're talking about, how well these guys can play together when they're so new to the team, and that was Dexter 1 and Yamato Cannon right there having a little bit of trouble.
Yeah. And that's the problem I think that Dragonborns are going to face in this game when it comes to really those crucial points of the game where communication is absolutely everything. If they're just, you know, a few seconds or even less off of calling the right strategy out, the right call, then they can end up just losing that completely, and that's the real danger here for them.
Yeah, it's gonna be a problem that's gonna last with them for a couple of weeks as well. I mean, we did mention before that Yamato and Dexter aren't permanent replacements for the team. They're just subbing in for this week. They could obviously earn a spot if they play well, you know, today, but it's going to be a thing that's going to be trouble them for quite a while as it progresses, and we're almost into the relegation matches, which you can't afford to be in this position right now. They're so close to being, or actually, sorry, they are in the bottom 2 now, if I'm not mistaken. You mentioned that.
They will be if they lose both games today. If
they lose both games today, yeah, and you don't want to be in those bottom 2, because then you're 1 loss away from just being out of the LCS.
So still no first blood here, 8 minutes into this game. Gold is 500 in favour of Fnatic. There you can see where it lies overall. Really not that much of a difference on all fronts of this one. Just those slight 100 gold here, there for Fnatic. So that's not too much to talk about here. And in terms of items, we've seen a couple of pickups here. Boots and the Ruby Crystal coming out for Shen. And Renekton going straight in towards that Giant's Belt. We've got a BF Sword on Ezreal with the boots, and the Cutlass picked up for Yellow Star, as we are seeing Cyanide now coming in. So it looks like Fnatic have finally called, okay, it's time for some action here. Let's take the first turret of the match. Yeah, they turned that switch on right now. They should be able to get this turret very easily. The items that they're working towards right now, we're going to see that Blade of the Rune King done on Yellow Star fairly shortly. And with a Nunu to support him, he's going to be attacking so fast with that he's going to be just destroying people because of that percent damage you're going to do. And with that first turret being taken down, it's on about 1,000 gold, so he should have that fairly shortly. And they're also still pushing right now. They can get the second turret potentially because Dragonborns is respawning with the dragon. Yeah, there's definitely the potential for that one there. Dragonborns with 3 men down towards the dragon. already down to half HP, and Fnatic not going to be able to do anything about this. But as you said, they may get themselves a turret for it. It's Yamato Cannon going to put his ultimate up, and your Fnatic turn around, put all the damage in towards him. Will they finish this one off? No, not quite. Now Shushay comes in. This is where Fnatic need to be a little bit worried. There's the barrel coming out. It will knock Enrated in towards the jungle, but almost perfectly through that narrow gap as XPK pushes the middle as well.
And in the meantime, we see 3 members of Dragonborns pushing down this bottom lane. They should be able to get this turret off that as well, so they got a dragon and a turret. But if they lose this middle turret, Fnatic's going to come out ahead in this entire trade, as they already got that top turret down about half health as well. But that was a great play to Yamato just to pop that ultimate, just to delay them as much as possible, because he really stopped a lot of damage from going down on that turret. It potentially could have actually been taken down if he didn't do that.
Yeah, that is a 1-for-1 in terms of turrets, and that brings the goal to a bang-even state. After that, Dragon also obviously picked up 4 Dragonborns in there, so actually coming out nicely from that.
And you look at Fnatic's top lane right now, they have ward coverage down, and Rated is keeping that side open because they want to keep pushing it as much as possible. As long as he keeps warding that up, they're going to have that ability to, because they're going to force Gragas to leave middle to help them. They're going to force Dexter to come help as well, and that'll allow XPK to push that mid lane as a... See, he's farming up. I mean, he's still behind to his counterpart at this point, and I had him as winning his lane in terms of that switch.
What else do we have? Brutalizer down for Zed. That Seeker's on guard obviously was done a little bit earlier on for Shushay. Not much since the last one. There is a pink ward put down as the crowd goes wild.
I want to mention, they're really quiet.
Yeah, I was going to say, it shows you that the game's been off to a bit of a slower start. No first blood, 11 minutes in there. And when we get a ward kill, they come back to life here, the French crowd here in the Zenith Arena. But that middle outer turret is dangerously low, to be honest. Dragonborns need to be careful what they do about that one. As Soaz actually going in onto Yamato Cannon here. He's going to slice and dice his way straight back onto that turret. He doesn't want to get involved at all.
Yeah, they really shouldn't be able to kill each other at this point, because Yamato Cannon has some nice sustain just off of his Q. That coil that makes Soaz has as well off of his. But they're just going to butt heads as much as possible, and I think this is going to be a key point in the game. If we have Fnatic 4-man group in the mid lane, you're going to force Yamato Cannon to have to come and defend that turret, or they're going to lose it. And that allows Soaz to keep split pushing, apply pressure in other lanes, and it really forces Dragonborns to react to the split push pressure that Fnatic can put out.
It looks like they may try and catch Renekton out in this bottom lane here. 3 men coming through the tri-bush. They know that Renekton is down there. Where is the Spirit Fire here from Cyanide? And actually, Yamato Cannon has completely cancelled it. There is the ultimate coming down from both Nunu and Varus. They've locked him in there, but his ulti is running as well. Here comes Ezreal. Yellow Star going very low. Will use the barrier, but maybe Soaz gets caught out. No, it's Hosan who gets the kill. Cleanses away. Janna uses the Monsoon to heal them both up. And Dragonborns turn it right on its head and take first blood.
And that is why Hosan is so damn good on AD carries. His aggression right there, Arcane shifting into the team just to pick up that kill on the Yellow Star. Great play by Dragonborns overall right there, and even the ultimate out of Janna to push them away from Hosan, so just so he can escape. That is the strength of their combo. They can easily get someone and just protect their AD carry, protect Shushay very easily.
Yep, and that's the start that Dragonborns needed here to get things moving. His mover is going to get caught out by Soaz. Actually, Renekton was just in there behind him, so Soaz not going to extend himself out and try and pick up anything from that. So, this slow game, we know that Dragonborns, at least they have with their old lineup, thrive from chaotic situations. Yeah. And if they can cause that, I mean, that first blood at the bottom was a very chaotic situation. As Dex here going to take a lot of damage, and there we see again the knockback coming in.
Yeah, every time XPK is going to go in, they're going to knock him away so he can't follow up with the damage he needs to kill that person. And if they can keep doing that, XPK won't be strong enough, or he could potentially be strong enough, but he won't be able to get in there and burst someone down, which he's going to need to do as the game does progress on. They might resort to a little bit more split pushing in that sense, but if we do see XPK roaming around a little bit with Yellow Star, which we have seen before, then they easily could pick up some kills, and there's not much you can do against that combo if you're one person.
Yamato kind of going to get himself home. He's 67 to 71 CS behind currently, so not really too far behind at all. If you look at the gold, he's actually 200 ahead with that assist that Soaz doesn't have to his name. There's a barrel coming in. Cyanide gets knocked up. In fact, it was the Howling Gale which picked up the kill there from Movert, but that just shows the danger, of that Gragas barrel again coming in. I mean, he's got that Nincy large rod now as well, which causes it to hurt a lot more, and Dragonborns have completely zoned Fnatic off this turret, and that will put them 2 turrets to 1 in the lead. And I tell you what, they might keep going here.
Yeah, they probably could as well. There's no one really to defend against him. We do have XPK around the corner, but he's too low on health right now. He's going to have to back and heal. But That was, it looks like Fnatic is not even ready for the CC that Dragonborns has, and we might be seeing a new identity developing out of Dragonborns. Maybe that chaotic playstyle might be, you know, on the back burner, and they're going to try to focus more around pushing as a team and not really trying to win off of, I don't want to call it luck, but controlled chaos.
Oh, here's Soaz actually going to go in on towards Shushe, who is being chased by that blue buff as well, looking to do some damage for the attack that came in there, as Hosang going to arcane shift away from the ultimate out of Nunu as they keep pushing in. Hosang going to get slowed, doubly slowed. He's got no mana to get away with that arcane shift. The ultimate hour movement couldn't quite save him. Gragas will put his Q across, but Movement will be able to walk out. That'll be Fnatic's first kill of the game, and it goes quite crucially, I'd say, onto Varus as well.
I think that might have been a little bit of a misplay to Mover. I think he potentially could have saved him with the John of Monsoon, but he didn't want to get himself caught in the end. I mean, it was pretty much going for, you could potentially save him or give them 2 kills, and he went for the better side of that coin toss. We do see Arms open a little bit more. The lock of the Iron Slayer picked up on Dexter now. It's going to help with a little bit of damage. I mean, all they're really building around is just to keep one person alive. Whoever Xpeke goes on, they're going to pop everything they can, keep him alive, and once that's over, Xpeke is not going to do too much damage as the fight progresses.
Yep, Dragon has now spawned here as well. Of course, it was Dragonborns who got it. There's a nice little steal onto the big Wraith from Xpeke. Every little helps going forward. He's actually got amount of CS ahead of Shushe at this point. Shushe, of course, does have that assist from earlier on. So will Dragonborns here get ready for the Dragon?
They probably could at this point. I mean, we have Ezra going for a certain build. I see here people are starting to get a little excited with the ward, but he's going for the Bloodthirster, so he's definitely going for a caster Ezra kind of build. He knows he's going to get that attack speed slowed off of Nasus and out of Nunu, so this way he's going to go around that, pretty much mitigate that completely. And with all the ultimates up right now for Dragonborns, they probably could contest and take this Dragon.
Well, they are in position. Fnatic starting to come around here as well. Xpeke ninja pose ready around the corner. And there are wards down there from Dragonborn, so they know where Fnatic are. There's 2 pink wards in there as well, so got to be a costly Dragon from them. If they end up getting it, then it's certainly going to be worth that invest.
Oh, look what Fnatic's doing.
That's not even a word that I was trying to get out there. But as you said, Fnatic, they've used that positioning there. They know that Dragonborns are off around the corner. There comes a true shot barrage to try and get rid of the minions. But the fact is they've been zoned completely from this one. As Shen going to get in there on towards Mover. He's going to be exploded as Hosang came in to try and save his support, but just too little too late. And that was exactly what you need to do in that situation. It stopped them getting Dragon. They've pushed in there, done damage on the turret, picked up a kill, and now they can go back and get a Dragon themselves. That's
just showing the experience of Fnatic right now, taking advantage of the position of Dragonborns. They really weren't in a position to get back to their second turret safely. As you saw Mover, you went the one direction he shouldn't have, and ended up getting picked off. They should be able to lock down this Dragon, but we do have Dragonborns still trying to contest it. I mean, this seems like it's not going to be worth it if they get caught here.
Oh, he's going to get this one away. Actually, Dragonborns will get it, but can they get any more from it? Dexter in trouble inside of the Dragon Pit. There's absolute zeros. Yamato Cannon is going to be killed off by Xpeke as Shushe will flash in there, but his body slammed in the wrong direction. Here comes Shen. Peke actually walks straight through the barrel on the other side, and now Shushe is in all kinds of danger. He's on the wrong side of the map. They've got eyes on him there, and Soaz flashes in. The turret will finish off the kill, and Fnatic go 4-2, but Dragonborns did pick up Dragon, but at what cost?
Yeah, they lost 2 members, and we could potentially see Fnatic push up that middle lane as well. You still have Shusha down for 20 seconds, Sumato down for about 5, but instead it looks like they are going to go back and farm up either way. And that was a very ballsy play by Dragonborns. I didn't really expect the steal, as you did see Soaz. He just kind of sat back and just waited, tried to taunt him as he came in, but in the end, Dragonborns pick up the Dragon, not really worth it. And Fnatic going to take that little bit of advantage they got and buy up a couple more items. You see the Blade of the Rune King finally done for Yellow Star, and we're going to see Xpeke's done very shortly on top of that.
We have around about 1,000 gold lead here still for Fnatic. And with that middle turret down, I mean, the inner turret in the middle after that last exchange took a good chunk of damage in there as well. Let's take a quick look at that and see exactly where that inner middle turret is going to be now in terms of health. Or not. Let's just look at Jason's PC and see that it's actually below half HP. So, good. 4-2, 25,000 700 gold to 24,600 gold, 1,100 lead. Currently, if we look down the CS here, 163 to 120. It's a good lead for Yellow Star here on Varus over Hosan's Ezreal.
Yeah, that really is a huge lead, especially since we saw Hosan pick up that first blood on a Yellow Star, but Yellow Star able to, you know, get a nice CS advantage over him. He has a little bit of an item advantage on top of that as well, sitting on about 800 gold advantage or two, but I mean, we see the Warmog's done for Soaz, so he's becoming this really tanky force. There's no one that does the damage they're going to need to against him here, as we do see a gank coming on to Yellow Star here.
This could be interesting. Actually, the Wither is down here. Yamato kind of was hit by the tower there. They've managed to dodge that True Shot barrage, but Fnatic needs to get out of it. Gragas, Ezreal, and Janna are all coming from the side here. This could be real dangerous stuff as the slow comes in, gets knocked up. The Gragas barrel not doing the damage. Yellow Star flashes away from the body stand, gets the slow in there. There's the barrier. And Fnatic escape it. My word, that was brilliant.
And Cyanide, great job at him just to face block all those Ezreal Qs. We see XPK on the bot lane still pushing away. That turret's already down to half health. He should be able to take down top of it. Even though Dragonborn's gonna get that top turret, I think the rest of Fnatic's gonna be able to heal up and get back to defend their own second tier turret here. Great play by Fnatic to really escape that gank.
And there is Peke doing what Peke has been doing best over the last weeks as he goes in. Actually, I'm not sure that Yamato can really fight him, to be honest, with that ultimate available. So has Enrated and Cyanide trying to push in here. They're going to get the taunt down on towards Dexter, but do they have the damage? Spirit Fire and Wither are going to come in. There's a Howling Gale. Yellow Star is going to be catching up from the backside, but they need one more taunt here from Soaz if they're to lock this one down. Doesn't quite get it there. The barrel from Gragas should keep them safe.
I think they still, okay, let's say they might have been trapped if Fnatic went around to try to cut them off. We did see a lot of ultimates committed on side. We see XPK in the bot lane trying to go head-to-head against Yamato, as Yamato's scared right here.
And he should be as well, because Peke, he can do a lot of damage to him. That Sunfire Cape obviously is going to be a major help for him. And in the end, Peke not going to follow that one through, but he's keeping it going. Fnatic also, as a team, are pushing down this middle lane. And there is that tower we were talking about earlier on, less than half HP when they get started here, and that is going to be turret number 5 for Fnatic.
Because Fnatic chased them away at that top side, they knew they didn't have very many ultimates up since they committed a lot to pick up that kill onto Yellow Star. They're able to delay them long enough back and that they could just go for a 4-man push on that middle turret. So they picked up 2 off that entire exchange and only lost 1 turret on the other end of it. So Fnatic coming out ahead easily, and they have a little bit of a goal lead here as the items still, they're completing up. We have a lot of gold on XPK right now, sitting on about 1,700. See 1,000 on Navaris, even 1,100 on the Nunu at this point. And they're only getting stronger as this game does progress on. But if Dragonborns can pull off the perfect execution in the team fights to protect the members they need to, they still easily can go head-to-head.
Yeah, still very close at this point. Jason, run us a little bit through the items here. Warmog's finish for Shen. Sunfire Cape for Renekton, as I said earlier on. On the other side, in the middle lane, Gragas got the workings of that Rabadon's now in there as well. On the other side, Zed with a Hex Drinker, Brutalizer, Cutlass.
Well, looking at how the two quote-unquote tanks are really going to interact in this fight, well, Soaz and Yamato Cannon. The taunt out of Soaz, every one of them except that last one we saw has been so spot on. He's caught enough members to really make it worth it. He's going to be the big playmaker for the team. If he can lock a couple of them down, he can delay their dispersion ultimate. He can really set up a chance for XPK to get someone bursted down. Yamato Cannon, he has a Sunfire Cape, he has a Warden's Mail now, but he's not really tanky enough to go head-to-head or to get into the backline of Fnatic when you have Yellow Star having the Blade of the Rune King and also having that percent damage off of his Blight. So that's really going to be a big problem for them. When we see the Death Cap done for Shushay, the damage spike is going to be intense, that he might be able to catch Yellow Star, might be able to burst him down from 100% to 0. But then if Yellow Star builds any bit of health or any bit of magic, this could be a problem.
Oh, Fnatic could get caught out here. The Howling Gale will actually end up missing along with the True Shot Barrage, which came straight through them. And Fnatic will survive that one. That's a scary situation when Zin just comes jumping out from nowhere and looking to get you knocked up there, but didn't quite work. And in the end of the day, Peke is split pushing here. We have Soa split pushing over on the top lane, and this is something that Dragonborns are going to have to be so communicative about and, you know, execute perfectly to stop Fnatic getting an advantage from it.
And the problem is that I think Peke is strong enough that if they send anyone against him, he's going to win that trade. They're going to have to send more than one member to deal with him, and if they do that, that means Fnatic can 4-man push another lane and get a turret on top of that. So Dragonborns, it's a very tough position for them to be in, but if they need to, or if they want to have hopes at shutting this split push down, they're going to have to go for a strong engage on a Fnatic onto that 4-man push and get those kills.
Well, there is XPK again. He was forced away by Renekton, and guess what? He comes straight back in towards the turret, and Renekton can't get involved there at all in the team fight. However, Peke will have the same thing as he actually goes in, does a lot of damage to Yamato Cannon already. And that's a danger that you've always got to be a little bit careful of. If Xpeke decides that it's the right time to dive in onto him underneath the tower even, that could be a bit of a problem. It's Dragonborns come out into their own jungle. Cyanide and SOAS starting to get in position there. There's an Oracle on Mover to get rid of that ward, but they want to get this blue buff away. Dexter is there as well. He does have Smite available as the blue buff actually will reset itself and goes back into camp.
Still, they're doing a great job of just stalling it now. Keeping that blue buff away from Shushe is going to stop that in cooldown reduction that he's going to need for all those Gragas barrels to come down. Just like a Lux, you want to use at least 2 throughout the entire fight, as we did see Cyanide take that away with the Smite right there. And so Xpeke, he's just pushing down that bottom lane. Yamato Cannon went back, picked up a Giant's Belt. He didn't get Home Guard boots just yet, which I think would be more of the perfect item. If he does get low, just back out, get back to that turret to kind of prevent Xpeke from pushing down. But with level 16 on Xpeke, if he gets Yamato Cannon any sort of low, I'd say about 3/4 life, I think he could go in for that kill.
Yeah, and look at the CS difference between Xpeke and Shushe here. 60 CS, 2,000 gold almost that equates to overall. That is a humongous lead actually coming out for Xpeke Z. We've got the Dragon coming up here again. Actually, Dragonborn starting to come around to it as well. Obviously, SOAS with Stan United can get involved from the base should he need to, but Fnatic have already got it down to half HP. They're very wary though of Dragonborns trying to come in there for that steal. They want the entire team to be there.
And the thing is, Cyanide was currently not there right now. He's farming up towards his, he's actually trying to take his red there for a second, but he's the one with the Smite. He's the one that has to be there to help them secure it, and we did have all 5 members right now pushing towards the Dragon. Dragonborn should be able to take this, but it seems like a little bit too late. We have expecting to be back in very shortly. There's 2,000 gold to spend, finishing up, I believe his Blade of the Rune King, and that's just going to allow him to split push even further.
Yeah, but that's what they need to do here, Dragon wants to stay in this game. I mean, it's 4-2 in kills. Yeah, their turrets are falling away from them, but if they can have a couple of good team fights here, they're right back in this matchup. So let's see how it goes down. We can see their items coming out. We've got Phantom Dancer plus the Blade of the Ruin King coming out for Varus. SOAS gets cleared right over the other side of the map there by the True Shot Barrage. Zed did finish up that Blade of the Ruin King as you predicted there. Still obviously has the Hex Drinker and the Brutalizer in there with him as well. In the meantime, Shen heading into that Warmogs with a Sunfire Cape.
We see it ready to put down a pink ward at Baron, and this leads me to believe that they might try to bait in Dragonborns towards that Baron side, but they have such a good team that they can disengage easily if they need to. You have that nice Ice Ball out of Venerated, you have the Wither out of Cyanide, even the Taunt off of SOAS, and that'll allow Xpeke to yet again keep pushing that bottom, pushing that bottom lane, and it gets a little bit repetitive, but it's working for him, so why change it?
Well, yeah, that's the thing. If it's not broken, don't fix it. Yep. And that's exactly what they're going to be going for. Again, Renekton is forced to peel off down. And those minions, yeah, it might take him 10-15 minutes to do that over and over and over again, but eventually he's going to take that turret down, and that's the danger that Dragonborns really have at this point of the game.
Yeah, and he's really keeping Yamato Cannon there. I mean, it's allowing Yamato Cannon to get the farm he needs. He's finally surpassed SOAS, as you do see Baron started right now. Wow. Dragonborn's not in position to actually stop this, and we do see Mover backing away. It might be a free Baron over to Fnatic.
Yeah, they've got no wards whatsoever to spot this from happening, and well, with Mover away, with Ezreal in the bottom lane, with Renekton in the bottom lane, we will finally see Dexter come through and say, oh my gosh, they have started Baron off. We didn't know that was happening. And Shushe now finally trying to get around as they turn away on towards Dexter. Can they get the kill? There is a knockback onto everyone, but Enrated will be in position here for the absolute zero. There's a Q coming through, but it is going to be a finish here for Cyanide. They get the kill, but they've stopped them doing Baron as Xpeke was going in here on towards Yamato Cannon, and it looks like he's going to keep going on to him as well here. Yamato Cannon pops the ultimate. Xpeke dives away, and now Hosan getting involved. There was a stun. Can they get the finisher? Stan United coming in, and well, not quite enough in time. Cyanide is going to be picked off here as well as they die right in the middle of the fight, just like Cyanide and Peke.
And in the end, a 1-for-2 trade for Dragonborns. They stop the Baron being dead on Fnatic as well, so it works out even greater than that. And now they're going for a push on this middle turret. They should be able to lock this one down, having 20+ seconds on the 2 members of Fnatic, and they're just going to go ahead and face tank this turret. Dragonborns are getting back into the game. Such a great job by Dexter right there to really disperse the entire enemy team. We see SOAS trying to go for a taunt right there, but it's just not enough.
Yeah, and that's what I was talking about. A good team fight. Yamato Cannon going very, very low there. Oh, is the Monsoon. But Mover now may get caught out of position as well. Yellow Star going to flash in. There's the Gragas barrel to do good damage, but they may even turn this one around. Flash there from Mover. They managed to taunt Hosan up as well. Fnatic keep going as they do turn around and going on to Soaz. Hosan picks up the kill. Yellow Star now going to be a prime target. Gianna Shield on towards Dexter, but they decide not to pursue. Pink one comes down there in the middle, and that will be 5-5, and look at the gold. It's come back to almost nothing.
That entire last trade we saw happen gave Dragonborn such a huge advantage right now. We saw Yamato Cannon back with about 2,600 gold. He finished up his Randuin's Omen. He finished a full Brutalizer. That's going to allow him to do so much more damage in these fights, not to mention he is level 16. And Dragonborns, they're not going out with a fight right here. If they can keep timing their dispersions well, they should be able to tear Fnatic apart one by one.
Black Cleaver now added in there. Obviously, Brutalizer was in there for Zed early on. He's almost at 300 CS now. Is Expecate approaching that 30-minute mark, which is not half bad.
And guess where he is?
He's in the bottom lane, split pushing. What a surprise. And, well, he's going to keep on doing that because up until those last team fights, it was working out nicely for Fnatic, but they have got to have had a conversation after what just happened to them and say, that cannot happen to us again.
Yeah, and we do have two members actually of Dragonborns going down to stop him here. Oh. He's taking a lot of damage. Actually, might be able to go down, but the nice speed increase from that Black Cleaver does help him escape. Not the Black Cleaver, sorry, the Sword of Blade of the Rune King. He's going to get it eventually.
The Sword of the Black Blade King. But then we saw the Randuin's being used as well by Yamato Cannon. Actually wasn't in range there, I think, of Peke to get that slow off. So now that didn't quite work out as planned. But they forced Peke away. You just have to wonder for how long as the crowd again cheering Mover on in his ward clearing skills. But Jason, talk us through, where we are in this game right now. 30 minutes in, we're tied in kills. It's 2,000 gold lead, which, after 30 minutes is not that big of a deal. What does each team have to do to finish off this game, to win this game?
See, looking at our Fnatic side, they're still trying to go with that split push strategy, but all it's really done at this point, since they haven't gotten that bottom inhibitor turret, is allow Yamato Cannon to get farmed up to become beefy enough to really get into the backline of Fnatic's team. And this actually might work out, or might work against Fnatic's side. They might need to actually just say, hey, stop split pushing, let's go for a 5-on-5 engage, try to kill Hosan, because he has no defensive item yet. And as we know, Hosan, his defensive item is just a second Bloodthirster, so they have the potential to blow him up still. And I think Fnatic needs to start going for a five-man fight. Wow,
that was a great Howling Gale. We saw a flying Soaz earlier. There is the slow, but the rest of Fnatic coming in. There is Yamato Cannon coming from the side. Hosan is there as well. They're going to force Fnatic to back away from this one, but the kill they were hunting for didn't work out. And guess what? Peke is still pushing the bottom lane out, and Dragonborns know that they need to react to this one. It's Yamato Cannon, who again will be tasked with going there to stop Peke.
And he's just increasing his lead right now, as he should be able to get this turret down very low. I think he might be able to take it down as well. But Dragonborn's now going for a Baron here, and in a 4-on-4 fight, I believe Dragonborn's actually has this fight won. We do see Fnatic actually coming out from the side, Sonic coming in just to stop them, just to delay them as N-Rated comes in as well, and they do go in. We have the Shen ultimate coming in.
Stan United will come down. How is this one going to go in there? Move it will use the Monsoon as Hosan is at the back, hammering away them. Shushe uses the Zhonya's. Dexter will back away as well as they spot Yellow Star coming in, but Shushe is the one in trouble. He's used his explosive cast to knock them away, but he gets the kill before he dies. Hosan will fall though. That's Peke coming in. Who's the next target? Yamato Cannon separated from the team. He actually slices his way through the back there, but it won't be enough to escape. And that is 3 kills for 1 for Fnatic, and they turn around, and again, Baron's going to take some punishment.
Great job by Fnatic right there to go for that entire engage. You do have Dexter coming in from the side, but overall, that was just such a strong engage out of Fnatic right there. They were able to tank up the damage that Dragonborns could put out. Even Shushe, that cast, explosive cast, wasn't enough to do anything to him. They were able to lifesteal just enough to stay alive. They should be able to get the spread as expected. He really wants his kill on Dexter.
Yeah, he's going to force him away. It's not quite the tanky target. As Mover comes in there as well, they get the slow down onto him. Can they finish him off though? Howling Gale comes in, and I tell you what, Mover may end up falling down here. There's a flash from Peke. Shield comes around, and Peke realizing with that turret, he can't quite finish things off. But in the meantime, Fnatic took out the Baron.
And all 5 members picking it up right there. They have quite a bit of gold to spend. Expect to sit on another 2,500 at this point. I wonder if he's going to go a little bit more damage or maybe go some sort of tanky item. And depending on what he picks up here will determine if they're going to continue split pushing or go for more of these 5-on-5 fights.
So let's take a bit of a breather here to look down the items, because we have had some changes coming in there. The AD carries in particular starting to build up strong. Bloodthirster, Last Whisper, almost a Phantom Dancer finish for Ezreal. On the other side, Blade of the Ruin King, Phantom Dancer already done. What looks to be Infinity Edge coming up next for Varus.
And that's just such a deadly combo. I mean, he's allowed to go that kind of all offensive build because of the fact that Expeke is so strong that if he goes into the backline, Dragonborns has to use everything to stop him. Just him. Not really do anything about Yellow Stars, just sit in the backline with the Blood Boil, with those 3 completed items coming up very shortly. They have an answer for Expeke, but they don't have an answer for Yellow Star right now.
And we saw Enrater just getting in towards the Dragonborn's jungle there to get those wards down. Peke is doing something which we've not seen from him just yet. This is the first for him. Which is pushing that bottom lane out. Of course, I'm trolling with that one, but he may actually end up being in trouble himself. He has ulti up. Mover is there. He is going to go in on towards Mover, and look at the damage straight in there. Peke explodes Janna, but is he going to escape? Actually jukes around to the other side. He's down below half HP. Yamato Cannon can't quite get in for this stun. He will flash in for it there, and there is Stan United. There's a Fnatic turn this one around. Cyanide is in there. Soaz will get a good ton off. Here comes Varus from the side. We do see Expeke go down, but Yamato Cannon will surely be the next one to go down as well. Zonya's used by Shushe. He is one of the only men left here for Dragonborns. Fnatic go left, right. Which is the target? They finally decide on Dexter, who will charge away to the minions, but he's running to no man's land here. And as soon as Soaz gets in range for another taunt, Dexter surely will end up getting picked off. I mean, you can't expect that he's going to escape this one, but he is buying time at least for Dragonborns here as he runs up north through that Fnatic jungle, and Rated chasing in there as well. There is the snowball, and they finally get in towards Dexter, and Rated worried that he'll turn around onto him. There's an Ignite used to finish off the deal by Soaz.
I almost fell asleep with how long that fight took right there, just chasing him down. But in the meantime, you did see Cyanide. He just said, you know what, you guys chase him. I'm going to push the spot lane as much as possible. He will get that turret down, and his Q is stacked up to plus 219, so he doesn't do an insane amount of damage to turrets, but the turret is definitely going to feel it every time you use that Siphoning Strike. And Fnatic, in the end, getting that 4-for-2 trade, I believe that was, and coming out ahead.
It was a very chaotic one again,
yeah.
But Fnatic again, they reacted to what was happening in that bottom lane. Expeke did a great job to stay alive long enough for the rest of the team to actually get in there. Another Varus ultimate from Yellow Star landing on its target, spreading around the team, giving them time to lock them up. As the red buff is being stolen away here by Fnatic. Hosan is going to come around. He's actually stood on top of a ward here as he puts the Mystic Shot in and realizes that there are men waiting for him.
He's not going to face check bushes with that Ezreal, but still, look at his item build. He's going even more damage. He can't afford to do this. He has to get a little bit tanky because he is the focus of the entire Fnatic team. I mean, he has good protection, but if you don't have the health you need to survive, just the ultimate from Expeke, you can't afford, or you won't really live at all.
And there is the back from Fnatic. Let's have a look how much gold they're all sat on here. We've got a Runic Bulwark finished up there for Nunu, who's got himself 1,400. There's 2,000 on Varus, 1,200 there on Nasus as well. And in the last time, Soaz actually picking himself up a Spirit Visage in that last one. So nice magic was this going to improve those healing effects on himself as well. Locket of the Ancillary picked up for Enrated. I mean, between that and the Runic Bulwark is actually quite a lot for a support already. I mean, he's got 10 assists, so not really a big surprise.
And you typically don't see supports build it anymore, but that Spirit Visage that you pointed out that Soaz built, that cooldown reduction, that 20% reduction is going to be insane for Soaz in these fights, because if he keeps landing multiple person taunts, Dragonborn is just going to get picked off, as we've seen happen in these previous fights. But you have to give Dragonborn's credit, though, because they're still holding on in these fights. They're still going head-to-head. They're still almost coming out even. It's just because of their behind items right now, because they're behind 8,000 gold, that they can't win the fight.
And Expeke here is trying to be a little bit clever and wait in that bottom bush for Renekton to come around. And Renekton will come in there. Tina just actually backed away around the corner from him as well. And here we go. Yamato kind of going to be focused onto here by Peke. He will pop the ultimate, but look how quick he's going down. That is not even a contest. Peke's patience plays off again.
And he just took out their tankiest member of the top lane. Soaz overextended a little bit onto that turret. Should be able to escape, but what XPK taking down their tankiest person and the person that's been stopping it from split push this entire time. This should be a free inhibitor, or it's going to be a free turret either way, because Fnatic will be able to capitalize on this no matter what.
Yeah, and that's the problem that they have now. Without Yamato Cannon to stop that split push happening, they're going to have to deal with this split push in some different way, which is either leaving a 3-on-1, 3 versus 4 in the top and sending someone else there, or just giving things up. And it looks like they will, in the end up giving a little bit up here, as XPK a little bit cautious on about Dexter, although he's got 4 levels on him, and to be honest, he could probably take him out.
And his ultimate is almost up right now. We could see Dexter actually get 1v1. I'm pretty sure XPK is strong enough to take him down, but he's just trying to secure this. They're just playing a little bit slow here. They want to play their advantage the best they can. We do see a nice down to Hosan, but he does cleanse that away.
Yeah, Gragas trying to get the barrels off. Let's have a look down in the bottom lane, because we are going to see him go in. There's the ulti used by Dexter, but in comes Peke. The randomins was used by Dexter to force him away, and that will keep him alive, but his inhibitor's not going to have the same fate here, surely. Oh, flash away from the explosive cast coming out of Shushe, who's going to body slam in here, try and finish things off. Here comes Stand United, though, and they keep forgetting about Soaz here, who won't quite land the taunt there, and they may be in a little bit more trouble than they thought. Of course, Shushe has Zhonya's if he needs to come in with that one. Yamato Cannon will be chasing through. Stun comes in, flash over the side. In the top lane, they're going for it as well, as Cyanide will take down Move It. Dexter the next target, and Hosan at the back. He may be in trouble. He's withered up. There comes a snowball as well. The Q will land in the bottom lane. Peke died. Will Hosan get away from this one? No, he won't, and Rayton picks up the kill.
That was such great teamwork on that bottom lane. If you looked at XPK and Soaz, XPK threw out that clone and the E, just to slow him down enough that we could see Soaz flash over the wall and escape. And then you saw Fnatic go for that hard engage on that top side, knowing that the Gragas ultimate was down, end up getting a turret and an inhibitor off of that. And the thing is, Fnac's been doing such a good job of controlling the enemy blue buff that they've not allowed Shushe to have it pretty much this entire game, and because of that, he doesn't have the cooldown reduction he needs to have these barrels over and over and over to really keep Fnatic chipped and to keep them pushed away.
Baron is available though. Fnatic already starting this one off with 3 men. It could be dangerous though with Gragas and Renekton headed up there, and Fnatic seeing them come through the ward actually will peel away from the Baron, but how are they going to go in for this one? Explosive cast not really doing what they wanted, but look how low Cyanide falls. Shushe going to use the Zhonya's, but will he escape after that one? Yamato Cannon running in the same direction. There's the Q from Shushe to get the kill. Yamato Cannon in trouble as well. They need to pop that blight as Mover comes across the side, and they turn around and going on towards Soaz. Here is a true shot barrage. We're in the middle of nowhere, to be honest, by the end, as the taunt lands onto Shushe. He goes down to Yellow Star. In comes the Monsoon from Movement as they focus down Yellow Star, and Rated going low. Good taunt from Soaz, but it's not going to save anything. XPK is coming into the lane, but he's not going to be close enough to make a difference. Crazy stuff here.
And Shushe, I mean, getting a little cocky right there, but it worked out for them in the end, picking up those 3 kills. I mean, I think Fnatic didn't realize how late in the game it was, because we're 41.5 minutes in, and XPK had about a 50-second respawn timer. I was looking on the map like, where the hell is he? And then I realized, holy crap, he's not even up yet, and they can't really afford to go for that fight without him there. Yellow Star, he didn't really have the protection he needed. He got caught by Yamato Cannon and by Dexter jumping on top of him and just got taken out of the game.
Yeah, this one, honestly, can still go either way. We've seen that Dragonborns have the ability to catch Fnatic out. And as you mentioned, and rightly so, Jason, 42 minutes into this game, the spawn times are very, very long. And with that, you're always taking a risk when you team fight. If you come out behind that, I mean, an ace at this stage wins the game. That's pretty much it.
And we do have an Oracle Elixir picked up for N-rated. So now we're going to have them, looks like, stalling out Baron because they have that top inhibitor down. So Superminions will be coming in, and they can just stall as long as possible. XPK down at that bot lane yet again, going for the split push. They still have that open inhibitor, but if Dragonborns can catch him, they could turn this into a Baron and into a push.
So, Jason, more items coming in. Iceborne Gauntlet for Nasus in there just to improve the way that he can push in. Double Last Whisper on the Fnatic side with Zed and Varus, who also has a Banshee's Veil in there, which, you know, with all this dispersion and what have you, could actually really protect him from quite a lot of damage coming out there. On the other side, that Zhonya's we saw already in action from Shushe with the Death Cap and the Void Staff as well. Both teams got Runic Bulwark. Both teams got at least 1 Randuin's, 2 Randuin's even over on the side of Dragonborns, as the Baron was started off, but again they come off it because XPK is again pushing this bottom lane. It's Ezreal that's gone down there, and with that they might fancy their chances without the AD carry being around.
Yeah, it looks like Dragonborns will give this away, as we do see Hosan get engaged upon Xpeke.
Yeah, he's actually used the cleanse there, but there's not even a contest as Shushay comes in. Xpeke manages to avoid the Q. Here comes Stan United again, they turn it around. Zhonya's is used, Yamato cannon comes in, Xpeke dies, Shushay manages to survive. In the meantime, though, they've managed to kill off Sin. They've started off the Baron here. He's down to, well, nothing now. They take that one away. And Fnatic, they lose one man, they get 2 kills plus the Baron, and they're going to try and push it home. Yeah,
they're going to be happy with that any day. They should be able to get the last 2 inhibitors here. And you mentioned Irons a little bit, but the Frozen Gauntlet off of Nasus is so perfect because it allows him to protect Yellowstar even more. They have so many slows, they have the taunt to really keep him alive so he can 1v4 the enemy team, as you do see them just going head-to-head into the turret.
Oh, Soaz has got the taunting on towards Shushay. He's the obvious target here. That Zhonya's is off his cooldown. Can they get the finisher though? Soaz going to get exhausted. Shushay turns around. That's a lot of damage coming in, but Renekton's dead. There's the taunt on towards Janna. She will surely die. The snowball going to keep her slowed up here as well. The Iceborne Gauntlet not going to allow her to escape. That is a kill for Nasus, for Cyanide, and there is 4 men left up here for Fnatic. They're still pushing, but Gragas is really the only one that's keeping him away. Ezreal has respawned, but Fnatic go down onto the bottom lane inhibitor. That's all 3 inhibitors now down by Fnatic. Are they going to keep going here for more? They're not super healthy, but they've got that Baron regen on them, but they don't trust it here. Dragonborns are going to keep chasing off. Dexter dashes off to the minion, but Fnatic will escape.
They're not healthy, but Joe, they are very wealthy at this point. You see 2,000 gold on Yellowstar, and you still see 1,000 plus on 2 more members. And in that last fight, you saw Yamato Cannon go straight for Yellowstar. Great play by him, but he didn't expect Cyanide and N-Rated to be there just to stick to him, to protect him. With the Snowball, with the Iceborne Gauntlets, with the Wither, he could not stick to Yellowstar, and he just took him out. And that is exactly what they keep doing. Soaz is so tanky that he goes in 1v3, has the other team attack him the entire time, absorbs all this damage, and by the time that he gets even relatively low, anyone that dove on the backline of Fnatic is already dead, and they're pushing in to help him.
Xpeke right now has earned more gold than most small countries in a year. Yeah, 18,300 he's earned throughout the course of this game, and pretty much everyone up in double figures, certainly on that Fnatic team at the moment. They're about to hit 75,000 overall gold, 9 towers down, only the Nexus turrets remaining. The inhibitor on that top lane, I think I said it was down when actually wasn't, or did it respawn? Either way, it's been a crazy game, that's for sure, and yeah, it is there. So here we go then, Fnatic gonna keep pushing through, super minions working in, wards for that extra vision put down by N-Rated, and Fnatic even going through different entrances just to keep up with that split push style that we've seen work out for them so well over the course of these last 2 days. But Dragonborns are eager to fight here. They know that they're gonna have to fight at some point in this very near future. Fnatic are looking for that perfect taunt now onto one of the squishier targets as they put a bit of damage onto Yamato Cannon. Top inhibitor will go down, and here we go. Dexter will dive into the middle of them. There's a Gragas barrel, which didn't do too much for them. Varus ulti is spreading amongst the team as Nunu right in the middle will get absolute 0 off. Dragonborn's pretty tanky, but they're not going to be enough to survive the damage that's coming out here by Fnatic. Shushay comes off the end there of the fountain. Hosan is still alive, but they've taken down both Nexus turrets in there. Sand United comes in onto Yellowstar. Shushay uses a Zhonya's. He will be popped though in the end. Only Hosan left alive. The Nexus has been battered away, and Fnatic going to take down Dragonborns in a chaotic but crazy match.
So well played by Fnatic right there. I really wanted to hear the communication that was going on in their headsets, because every time Dragonborns went into their team, they had so much protection. We even saw that Gragas Sparrow come out of Shushay. It knocked Xpeke away. It took the threat of him out of the fight, but it didn't matter. They didn't have the damage they needed to take anyone else out of Fnatic.
So really, really good win there for Fnatic. A bit of a shaky one as well. They probably expected a bit more of a smoother ride against Dragonborns, but at the end of the day, it doesn't matter if it takes 46 minutes or 146 minutes. The job is done. We're going to go over to the analysis test to break everything down with Jack and our special guest for this one, Crepo.
Thank you very much, guys. You can see the players heading across to give the handshakes. That was quite a fight from Dragonborns. I mean, not Stompy. You were saying, Crepo, that any game that gets to about 20 minutes by being even, definitely not a stomp.
Yeah, a lot of people call it a stomp too early. If you go even the first 20 minutes, then it's more of a snowball than a stomp. And definitely props to Dragonborns. I did not expect them to hold their ground so well.
Yeah, so let's take a quick gander at the lineups here, because every time Fnatic has a lineup, you're saying they go at least one global at any point. And Dragonborns, on the other hand, had a lot of displacement. But how much did that displacement matter for them?
I mean, Fnatic will always play with either teleport, global like reposition like Shen ulti or TF ulti. And right now, like, yeah, they have a lot of displacement in the comps for Dragonborns, but if you look at it, Varus can stick at the back, and he's really good at hitting the front line, so he doesn't have to go in. He has potential HP damage, Blade of the Ruined King, and then his W. Like, he will constantly hit the tanks really hard. Pekka, however, he can just jump into the AD carry, nullify him if he wants to. Pekka is very mobile, so Shen taunts as well. Like, even though they have a hard time getting to Varus, and the other way around, they can just, like, Fnatic has the better team comp, in my opinion.
Yeah, so Fnatic on an absolute roll, and every time we have a Fnatic game, we're talking about the Fnatic play style.
Yeah, definitely.
How do they do things? Like, what kind of risks are they taking? Where are they going? And this replay, you know, we didn't have too many clashing giant team fights in that game, so let's just get into this replay right away, and we can just talk through it, because the way Fnatic plays is a lot different than other teams.
Very methodical.
Yeah. So let's hop into this replay real quick, and we'll see. This was a Baron at about 26 minutes, and I'm just going to start letting this play real quick, because you can see the vision denial.
Yeah.
There's not much vision on them, so we'll pause it here, and you just wanted to talk about the ward situation.
Okay, basically what happened before the situation is that Fnatic just, initially in laning phase, they outfarmed their opponent, so that's really good skill. But then they started pushing, and they push every lane together. And even though they can get caught, they still do it. Like, Breke, always on bottom, doesn't have many wards around it, but he just reads the game so well, and he just keeps putting that pressure on. Result, Dragonborns can't ward far out of their base. Right. And at one point, Fnatic will collapse into the dark area and just wait. And then Dragonborns is stuck with a decision to make. Do I face check and possibly die, or do we give them Nashor? And obviously he has to face check, because even if he gives them Nashor, they still lose the game. So at one point Dexter will face check, and luckily for him, Fnatic's Baron was rather slow, and they haven't finished it yet, but they could have.
Yeah, because you're paying attention to this here, and at any moment, Fnatic could be starting on Baron, or they could be just baiting. And
or
it's
they
just
could be baiting.
They don't know, because they have no vision on here. They're trying to reward.
Little unfortunate.
They're baiting for a while.
There's this ward at the side that sometimes gets a glimpse of them, so they have a rough idea what they might be doing. But yeah, at one point Dexter face checks, and he either, like, he can die, or he can't stop Nashor, and it's really hard, because Fnatic pushed their wave so much, so early. There's complete vision denial, and they're completely in the dark, literally.
Right, but as you see, now he has to face check it. Luckily, as you're saying, for them, Fnatic was slow on the Baron, so they had to peel. Like, Dexter managed to get them off of it.
Yep, he forced them off it.
Yeah. So it was a matter of Dexter having to face check, and
beautiful Xin ulti, beautiful Xin, because he cancels the Shen taunt, gets away, drags them away long enough. Now Xpeke will jump on Renekton. They turn around. Eventually, I think they kill Xpeke, so they stall the Nashor, and then they even go push mid.
And this was a Dragonborn's win.
A win, but it could have been a major loss. And the way Fnatic plays is, even though they take this risk, but what if they backfire? Nothing, because they're so aggressive in pushing that it doesn't even matter if they get caught a few times, because the lanes are so far forward that they can afford to just respawn and take control again of the game. And they play medium risk, high reward, and it's way better than, like, or it's a lot different than our old playstyle, which was low risk, low reward.
Yeah, and that was exactly what happened in that situation. The risk of going for Baron or not checking for Baron is the game.
Yeah.
But Fnatic had that backfire to them. They lost a few people.
And even they still
But it didn't matter, because all their lanes were pushed.
When you see Pekka pushing as well, he dies, but the wave is pushed. Dragonborns don't have the time window to push it back and then win the game. They can't trade anything. If you see Fnatic early as well, you want to take Dragon? Do it. We'll push your towers.
Yeah.
Even if we don't take them, we'll make them low. So next time we push them, we will take them. If you see how the game Fnatic Gambit, it was 6-0 for towers, which means Fnatic doesn't even have to ward their own side of the map. And if you look at Enraider's items sometimes, it was almost equal on gold, but a full item up on their support. That's why Fnatic plays way better with less wards than all the other teams.
Right, so this game against Dragonborns, many expect, I think it was the most one-sided voting game between Fnatic and Dragonborns, mainly because Fnatic did such a great job against Gambit, but this one was actually a closer overall game against Gambit Gaming, and it's not necessarily because Dragonborns is better than Gambit, but it's about how Fnatic plays.
But the playstyle, basically they play PvE. They don't necessarily, like, push the minions better than you, because you have spells to push them as well, but they push them at better timings, and they just slowly force you into your base, and then they draw, and then they force you to walk into the dark. And it's interesting, to say the least.
Yeah, so our MVP for this match, this seems to happen every time, but it's because of the way Fnatic plays. It's Xpeke, and it's mainly because the way they play, he ends up being the player.
He's the pivotal point, because even without wards, he's still doing that split pushing. He's so mobile, he reads ganks, and when he gets ganked, he draws at least 2 people to him, and he allows the rest of Fnatic to do something else on the map. Get another tower, like bait them into an objective, and yeah.
Yeah,
he just plays so good.
And it's a matter of knowing where the wards are in the game, because he was pushing in a lot of those back doors early in the game, and they just couldn't close in on him, and that was really the story of the game.
Yeah, definitely. Xpeke split pushes really well. It's really annoying to play against, so Peke, please stop that.
So Crepo doesn't want that quite yet, but congratulations to Fnatic again, and Shox is standing on stage with an interview with Yellow Star.
Merci, thank you. I'm here with Yellow Star. Give it up for Yellow Star. Starting off with a question in English, Bora. The game didn't get off to the best start, did it?
Yeah, so basically the laning phase was really good, but the thing is we did really lots of mistakes. So it led us to a long game, but overall we kind of play good and they did pretty well as well. So I think it was a good game.
Donc, tu as joué Varus. Comment était la confrontation avec Renekton?
De base, dans la méta actuelle, Varus, c'est un très bon personnage parce qu'il a beaucoup de CC, donc c'est difficile pour eux de me foncer sur nous. Donc on peut vraiment bien se battre lentement et tout ça, donc c'est très fort.
He says that he really prefers Varus now, a very strong character with a lot of CC. Now, j'ai entendu que votre famille est ici aujourd'hui. Donc, est-ce que tu as quelques mots pour ta famille?
J'aimerais particulièrement les remercier, ma famille, mon père, ma mère, mon frère et mes cousins. Je les aime très fort. Et surtout, vous tous, merci à tous de votre soutien, parce que vous êtes magnifiques, vous êtes formidables. Et je pense que vous le méritez, et des événements comme ça, on en veut plus en France.
So I asked Yellow Star that his family is here today, and he thanked them for coming, and thanked all the fans for their support, because you guys are truly amazing. I concur, Yellow Star. All right, merci beaucoup. We're going to go into a short break before our next match. It's going to be SK Gaming taking the stage. You know, Ocelot told me before in the cafeteria, we're going to win here today. We'll see if he can make that come through against All Authority. AAA versus SK Gaming coming up next.
Welcome back, everybody. And before we get our next game underway, I get to talk to Crepo a little bit about playing supports. So the first question everyone wants to know is like, what's a support do, man?
Basically, you have to work around with no means at all and to be as annoying as you can. So you have no creep score.
Right.
You're designated water. Like, you don't even get to buy items, but you still have to annoy people and get in their face and basically make everybody's life easier. So if I'm not doing anything, standing in a brush, I can watch top lane and I can just say like, Wicked, you're about to get ganked. And sometimes I call it before he sees it, and then it's good. I just try to help everybody as good as I can.
So you think it's also the support player's job a little bit more to maybe watch the minimap a bit more? Are you like the second jungler in communication for the team?
Basically jungler's playing against AI, and I'm in my brush on my lane if I'm not zoning people. So we both have more time to look at options, because AD carry, like top and mid, are obviously occupied with CSing and dodging ganks, and we have way more time to set up plays. We can open our chat, look at our timers and say, okay, that's spawning in 1 minute, that's in 2 minutes, then Drake, and we can basically map up a route, and then we can ask our players like, Frog, are you ready? Do you need a base? When do you need a base? Can you base now? Wicked, do you want to push that up, disappear, and go for Drake? And of course, it's not always me doing that, but I should be doing more, and if they want to do it themselves, that's welcome, but it's not necessary.
Okay, so especially with supports in solo queue, if they like ever take a kill in lane, they usually get raged at.
Yeah.
There are pros and cons that you were talking about of supports either getting farm or getting kills. What are those?
Well, basically, it started off with Zyra. You could get a lot of CS on Zyra. You used to take like 30 or 40 CS in lane, and then it would go AP, and then you have a secondary AP player. And also, a kill on a support is better than no kill at all.
Yeah.
So I don't really care. Also, additionally, if you want an Ignite on support, if you're looking for exhaust and Ignite on lane,
right.
why would you put the Ignite on the AD carry? Why not give him an exhaust so he can defend against himself if a bruiser jumps him in a team fight? I can be that Ignite guy. I can Ignite him. Sure, I might take the kill, but if they're dead, they're not getting creeps, and we're still winning out.
Yeah, so that's often why you probably see like Gambit Gaming would be the prime example. Edward is the guy who steals more kills than almost everyone else. So what would you say that like separates your support style from like someone else who plays support?
There's different like support styles. There's aggressive, and then there's like passive. Then there's people that always go into 2v1s as well. Like you have some players that really love going into 2v1s lanes. I prefer like laning 2v2 actually more than 2v1, because I need to work a little on my 2v1. Because in 2v1 it's just not only being there and pushing up and pushing back. It's really about zoning. It's all about stepping forward when the guy wants XP, not only the CS. Because you can deny CS, but if you give him all the experience, he's still like gonna outlevel you. And when he hits 6, he's gonna kill you because you're a support with no items, level 4. And he'll be level 6. So you need to contest everything you can, keep him on the same level as you are, and it's a different dynamic. I prefer playing 2v2.
Yeah, so this is actually something I want to dive into a bit more, is that 2v1 lane setup, because it's something that's taken over in the competitive scene. And I honestly, every time something takes over in competitive, it slowly filters its way into high-elo solo queue and then all the way down the ladder. So do you have any like tips for 2v1 lanes? Like the things you've learned at the very start of the 2v1 laning phase, what you see people do wrong frequently, how you destroy people in 2v1 lanes, stuff like that?
It basically started with World Elite. When we were in Korea, they started it. They put 2 people on top lane to dodge a bad matchup in 2v2 bottom, because bottom got the golems. So you don't want to fight a golems bot lane. So you switch it up, you get it. Then you take, if you know you're going to switch it up, you take a top farmer that's good with low CS, like a Malphite. If you get a Malphite with 40 creeps, doesn't matter, he still has ulti, and he can still nullify an AD carry.
Okay.
And then you go 2v1 top with like a double range support AD carry that just pushes the tower really well. Doesn't matter. Like and then if you compare, like, say you want to dodge playing against a Misfortune, and you're playing Kog'Maw, and you're on equal farm, obviously the Kog'Maw is going to gain out. And you can dodge bad matchups, force people in bad matchups themselves, like keep artificially low farm on their top laner, and then just push towers. You can call for your jungle to come on lane, push it in, go around, dive, or like them counterplay, predict it that they're doing that. There's so many mind games going on.
So how do you, with all the mind games, how do you know which one to do? Like what lanes, if say you have a Thresh and Misfortune lane, does it depend who you're 1v2ing against, or do you always play that 2v1 lane in the same way?
It all depends on how they're playing. If he goes close, some people go close for the first 2 creeps, and if you can put a hook in their face, it's done. You go in, you zone him. Even if I take a tower shot, he has to base. And it all depends. Sometimes your lane randomly pushes, and you can freeze him. But if you freeze him too long, then your tower at the other side of the map might go down. It's all just reacting on what to do. And 2v1 is a lot more reactive than the stale 2v2 lanes. That's why there's so much room for growth in there.
Right, so what do you, well, thank you very much for the 2v2 lane setup. And I got one more question for you. Like, what would you say your favorite support is to play nowadays?
Fresh for sure. and I didn't get to play much in the beginning. So Edward took like the Fresh Prince / King meme. So and also Elise, I've been loving it. I played it with Yellow Pete in solo queue. First time I ever played Elise, and I was like, there's so many buttons I can press. Like I can do so many things, even if I don't have items, because of the multiple forms. So definitely fresh in Elise.
Yeah. So I could probably want to talk to you about support all day, and I might continue to talk to you after. But we have games to play. We got the LCS still going on. Shox is ready on stage. Let's send it over to her.
Merci, thank you. First up, in the blue corner, they're the home crowd favorites, but they haven't been able to grasp a win yet. Ils ont besoin de votre soutien. Here's Against All Authority. And secondly, you all love us a lot, but they've also got your shoo-shoo, Hercubot. Give it up for SK Gaming! I just can't get enough of this crowd. Est-ce que vous êtes prêts? All right. We're going to get into this match, so let's get over to our commentators once again. Take it away, guys.
Thanks a lot, Shox. Joined once again here by Jason Kaplan. My name, of course, is Joe Miller, if you didn't already know. Against All Authority versus SK Gaming, our next one up, game 4, actually, of 7 here. We're almost at the halfway point. We can say that at some point during this game. So far, some great games, Jason. We'll talk us first through Against All Authority in this one.
Sorry, what? Sorry, the crowd is... I actually barely heard you there, but... So Against All Authority. We heard SK talk about them last week. They were saying between Against All Authority and Dragonborns, they were more scared of Against All Authority because you never know what they're going to throw at you.
Yeah.
And it proved well last time they met. Last week, Against All Authority actually destroyed them. Actually, let me even take that back. What was it, Against All Authority that destroyed him? It was No-No on his vein that really just destroyed them. And I wouldn't be surprised to see a ban actually target at him. But, you know, Against All Authority, you would expect a Sona for Corralius, but you never know exactly what they're going to do.
What about SK? We've seen them this weekend. They're 1-for-1, obviously losing out to Gambit last night, beating Giants, though, to kick us off yesterday.
Well, I talked about him yesterday with you, saying, you know, Candy Panda and Nif. They didn't really seem to do anything too amazing in lane, but it seems like over the past couple of weeks, as I looked at the stats again, they've been starting to improve quite a bit, starting to be a little bit more aggressive. You're happy about that one. A little more aggressive, but I wouldn't be surprised to see Ocelot playing maybe more of an AD mid, because he's starting to transition into that a little bit. And Kevin as well, we saw him playing Zed yesterday. That was really interesting. He did quite well on him.
Yeah, Zed was definitely strong in there. But let's have a look then at the two lineups, as though they don't really need any introduction, to be honest. We've been seeing them for weeks now. Against Authority on the blue side, Freddy122, Virtual, Slayer, No-No, and Corralius.
I'm really curious if No-No ever doesn't smile. I don't know. But over on the red side, we have Kevin, Hercubot, Ocelot, Candy Panda, and Nif.
So let's delve a little bit more into detail. You were talking about No-No's smile, and he is our key player here for Against All Authority.
Yeah, he really has been their strong AD carry that they've really needed on their team. His Vayne, last time they played against each other, did phenomenal. His Ezreal as well is very strong champion for him, but he's always been one of those AD carries that seems to get caught. I mean, we see them against the Wolves. Whenever there's a Thresh enemy team, you can pretty much guarantee at least once or twice he'll get caught by that Thresh hook on accident. But he's a very strong backbone for their team.
So let's have a look at SK Gaming. Then we've gone for not quite the AD carry, but that duo lane. And it's this time around Nif involved in 81% of all kills coming into yesterday's action.
Yeah, that smiles for how well he's been doing this entire LCS season. His Sona he started off with was just fantastic, always laying those nice crescendos. And his Lulu lately, which he played both games yesterday, have been pretty spot on. There's been a couple of missed ultimates, but it's always been a person that SK can look at and depend on when they need him.
So we're about to get ready and start this game off and get into Champions Slate. But before we do that, as per usual, we sat down with the teams to find out what they're thinking before today's game.
We won the first game, we beat them the second game. This is where things get interesting.
AAA, I think they will eventually catch up, and their mid laner, Slaya, apart from being an awesome guy, is a really good player. No-No, the AD carry is pretty good as well.
Most dangerous player from SK is Nif. His hooks on Thresh was very troublesome for us. He made a lot of very good initiates on us, so we have to take care of him.
They have to improve their champion pools to be not that predictable and get countered every game.
We want to win very hard, so we'll see if we can do it again.
So Nif, as I said yesterday, Jason, you didn't. You were giving no love to Nif and Candy Panda. He is a very incredible support player. We saw the crescendos coming out of him with Sona, the thresh hooks, as we heard there from Corrales. He's very, very dangerous in this game, and that's why we kind of highlighted him as our highlight for SK's team. But certainly, the pick ban phase is going to be interesting. What are you expecting from the bans for both of these teams?
I wouldn't be surprised to see a potential Vayne ban, to not let Nono play that again, or at least SK to be prepared for it this time. Thresh might be a possibility.